Vertical development researchers have found that people run on one of three internal operating systems. I call them Mind 1.0, Mind 2.0, and Mind 3.0. When we're in Mind 1.0, we operate kind of like a good soldier. When we're in Mind 2.0, we operate like a progress maker. And when we're in Mind 3.0, we operate more like a value creator. And I want to walk you through each of these different levels. But before I do so, let me show you the research and the statistical results around what percentage of people operate at these different levels. As you can see, is that most adults operate primarily at that base level, Mind 1.0, where they are good soldiers. Only 1% get to that top level, Mind 3.0, being value creators. And what we see is that most leaders and executives in organizations operate at that Mind 2.0 level, that value creator level. And I think all of this will come to life for you as we walk through each of the three different mind levels. So let's start with Mind level 1.0, good soldier mode. Now, at each of these levels, our body's internal operating system is programmed to fulfill different needs. Here at this Mind 1.0 level, our needs are for safety, comfort, and belonging. We are also afraid of threats to these needs. So these fears would be things like being exposed, being uncomfortable, and not fitting in. We've also got some other hallmarks. So people in good soldier modes, they don't want to be leaders, but they want to be a part of groups that will help them to feel safe, comfortable, and feel like they belong. They want groups that will fulfill these needs and quell their fears. But because they don't want to take leadership, they kind of just say, all right, I'll let you guys be the leaders. You just tell me what to do and I will go and do it. That's the good soldier mentality here, right? As long as you keep me safe, comfortable, and feeling like I belong, I'm happy to do whatever it is that you ask. It's kind of the mentality. And when we operate in this mode, we are dependent thinkers. Whenever I think about Mind 1.0, I think about a picture like this, where we see a whole bunch of penguins, emperor penguins, and our goal at Mind 1.0 is to get to the center of this huddle. Because this is where it's the most safe, it's the most comfortable, and we're gonna feel like we belong there the most. We don't want to be like this sad penguin out here that's unsafe, uncomfortable, and we're feeling ostracized, right? So our internal operating system is wired to get to the center, and we're willing to jostle for position to get there, right? So that's Mind 1.0. When we move into Mind 2.0, we take on different needs. Here our needs are for standing out, advancing, getting ahead, and being seen of value. In fact, we want these so badly, we were willing to be unsafe, uncomfortable, and not belong. So this is a huge step up in terms of our internal operating system. Here we've also got some threats to these needs, and we become fearful of being obsolete or redundant, failing, falling short, or losing, and not being seen of value. Now, when we're here, we're not dependent thinkers. We are independent thinkers. We oftentimes kind of develop the maturity to be able to stand on our own 2 feet in terms of our beliefs, and we're willing to push against the beliefs of the groups or the tribes that we've been a part of. That doesn't mean we necessarily leave those, but we're at least willing to push back against those. We develop our own set of beliefs, and oftentimes we become rather opinionated about those beliefs, and rightfully so. We've kind of had to battle to develop those. But at this Mind 2.0 level, we also recognize that there is a whole lot of Mind 1.0 people out there that are willing to give up their power and independence. And being a Mind 2.0 person focused on standing out, advancing, and getting ahead, we are inclined to want to use the power and independence of Mind 2.0 people, or 1.0 people, to help us stand out, advance, and get ahead. This is why we see most executives operating at this Mind 2.0 level. Say, I'm the leader here. I want all of my employees to help me stand out, advance, and get ahead. And that's helping me fulfill my needs. So those at Mind 2.0, they don't want to be in the center of the huddle. In fact, they kind of want to be like these penguins down in the bottom of this image. They're in a place where everybody else could see and recognize them. They're also in a place where they can direct those below them. So this is the Mind 2.0. We're progress makers. Doesn't make us bad people necessarily. We just are oftentimes very outcome oriented. In Mind 3.0, again, we're having another shift in our internal operating system. We're adopting different needs, such as being of value, contributing, and elevating others. Right? We no longer have the need to stand in like Mind 1.0 people, and we don't need to stand out like Mind 2.0 people. We just want to be of value, to contribute, and to elevate. Now, we also are going to have fears here, but these are healthier fears of not being of value, taking from or not lifting others, or limiting and stifling others. When we're here, we're not dependent thinkers, we're not independent thinkers. We are interdependent thinkers. We can hold multiple and complex perspectives simultaneously. We're purpose and long-term focused. You see, Mind 1.0 and Mind 2.0 people are short-term focused. They want to stand in and they want to stand out in the short term. Because we don't care to stand in or stand out, we could keep our eyes on the bigger prize out in the distant horizon. And Mind 3.0 people see and value the systems that go into the outcomes. They're not so outcome oriented, they're process oriented. And I'm gonna stretch our penguin analogy here. I think this is kind of what a Mind 3.0 penguin looks like. Now hear me out. You see, a Mind 3.0 penguin recognizes that the rest of the penguins, they live 30 to 50 miles away from their primary food source. And they think, man, if I could bring a food source to these penguins, I would add a huge amount of value. So they don't have to hike 30 to 50 miles just to get food. And they're willing at this level to do that, to create some sort of farm or bring food to them. And they do it not to fit in or belong or stand in. And they don't do it to stand out, advance, or get ahead. They do it because it's the right thing to do, because they are adding value to the rest of the colony. And that's a Mind 3.0 person. Only 1% of people get here, and only 8% of executives get here. It's not easy to get here, but when we are here, we are operating at our highest level. And we can have the biggest positive impact in the world around us. Now, this leads us to ask a really valuable question, but it is a question that is a little bit short-sighted, but it's also something that nobody ever, I think, really thinks to ask, which is, what is my vertical altitude? Now we could start to answer this question. And something that I think is helpful to distinguish here, as you see this dotted line, is where is our focus when we operate below this dotted line? It's on ourselves, either standing in or standing out. When we're up above that dotted line, our focus is now external to ourselves. So I think it's helpful to ask the question, what is my vertical altitude? But I also think it's important to recognize is that we don't spend 100% of our time in any one of these levels. You probably see all three levels in yourself. And so, but we do have a home base, or what I'm gonna call a center of gravity. So another question we can ask ourselves is, what percentage of our time are we spending in each of these different mind levels? And then the next natural question is, how do we spend a higher percentage of our time in Mind 3.0 as a value creator? And this assessment is designed to help you to understand what is your center of gravity. And then the results are also meant to help you to figure out, how can I elevate? How can I move up in my vertical altitude? And how can I spend a greater percentage of my time at Mind 3.0? So I hope you find this beneficial, as well as all of the supporting material that comes along with it. Thank you.